Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Avail Whiteboard series. Today we have Victor from Manta Network, who's one of the co-founders there, and he's with us today to explain more about Manta Network, its products, its history, and what they are up to and what are their future plans. Welcome, Victor.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hi everyone, I'm co-founder of Manta Network. Today is my pleasure to share what we are doing and how is the products and what we will do afterwards. So that's kind of the idea. Maybe I can give a little bit more background, start from beginning, how do we start a project and and then show the product. First, on the history side, we started this project, started research ZK since 2019. Before, I worked on the investment side in crypto and working on other fund and start my own fund back in the days. And then in 2019, I was study at Harvard and then MIT under Gary Gensler's class, and then somehow I understand, we working on a government project and there's some interbank transaction, and we start to figure out, if we want to do that, all of this on-chain information is really sensitive, and we should do something for privacy. And ZK is actually the best way because it can fully decentralize and at the same time, it's still can hide every information. So that's something really great. And we started working on ZK and did the research and wrote the paper for MAS, that's the Singapore Central Bank. And that time we did the first ZK KYC research paper. And at that time, we find maybe in 2020 we find maybe it can work in DeFi space, and we just make it fully decentralized and start working on it. So maybe I can share a little bit at the beginning, what we are doing is there's a DeFi. We try to do all of these products is mainly on the payment side, and sorry for my bad handwriting. And on the DEX, let's say swap. So this is the really simple product at the beginning, but basically we have a circuit on top of it, to build to basically running these things, and then underlying is the Polkadot parachain. That's kind of the idea, in the beginning, and underlying is the Polkadot, because at that time, we basically thinking if the this is really at the really beginning time, we're thinking if we hide all this transaction and all the assets can get into the network, and then we can hide this transaction and can have utility for this asset, and then basically an asset can move out. That's kind of the way how it works at the beginning on the tech design. And basically on the user perspective, there are just two address system. One is ZK address. So this address is something we create, and another is the public address. And so the public address is same as other address is everything is public. You can see sender receiver amount, but ZK address is reusable like public one. So you can just give this to others, and people can keep sending message or asset, but at the same time, everything is shielded. So on the public block explorer, you can see this is look like a contract. So contract. But on the private network, in real reality, all of this transaction, we just generate proof like locally, and like it start from a local desktop and like a local that application, and then we have an extension. But all of this from user side is like we call it signer at the beginning. That is the like desktop, and then we have like a wallet, because it's an extension. It's more than a signer. So proof generate that, and it's verified on chain. So it's still like all the transaction is there, but no one can see it. And but I find this is kind of the early stage.
Early stage, yeah. When you were this is what time? Like when did you start the project on the Parag?
Yeah, I mean I think we have the first paper on 2020,
Okay.
and the paper is actually pretty practical, but it's kind of there's no privacy swap and payment for reusable address. All of this is kind of new concept at that time, but it's something like a lot of people doing it right now as well. I mean, not a lot, but this is something like already we have users already launched, so it's like nothing special here. So that's kind of the idea.
Okay. So as I understand it, right, let me summarize, right? Like, so you wanted to kind of build out privacy preserving functionality, and initially you started out with these use cases like payments and swaps. And so you're writing these off-chain circuits. What are you writing these circuits? How did you start? Like, what is it? Circom? Is it like what is it exactly?
Oh, it's I mean we don't even there's not that much option. Like it's Rust based, and we use Artwork.
Okay, Artwork.
And it's at that time there's only Groq 16. So we just use Groq 16. I mean a lot of things we learn from Zcash. We really respect them. They actually have this reusable address, but at the beginning, first it's not like auditable one, and it's only single asset. It only can privatize Zcash.
Yeah. Okay. So to summarize, right, so you wanted to build out these privacy preserving programs, and so we used wrote these circuits in Artworks, and then basically there is. So the circuit, the proof is generated off chain, and it's verified on chain. Right, and I think you mentioned before that where is this proof generation happening? Is it happening directly on the user wallet or the signer?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's I mean, in the beginning, it's on the desktop, because we try to do it, on at the beginning on wallet or other within the app. That's also awesome. But it takes 4 minutes. At the 2 years before, it's kind of like the first benchmark make us really shocked. I think this is not will work. But somehow we improve a lot, performance. We use Poseidon hash. We did a lot of performance improvement, and then the proof generation right now on wallet is 2 to 8 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So it's still manageable. Because a lot of iteration. On signer, on desktop, is much quicker. But we find, it's still user experience is really important.
Okay. And so this signer, the wallet side, right? So this is a browser extension?
Yes, the wallet is a browser extension. And the signer is a desktop, but we deprecate it.
Okay. Makes sense. So this is pretty great. There are not too many projects that have a client side proof generation functionality, and so this is very cool.
Thank you. I think this is kind of 2020 we have this idea and write the paper and have the whole design. The design have a lot of iteration, based on the benchmark, based on the user experience, but also we rewrite a circuit many times because it's improved so fast. We also tried the Plunk, and but it's not even a Plunky tool. It's something I think like modified version Plunk. It's by some called ZK Garage. There's some DAO like working on that at that time, and but the performance is 10x slower than like Gross 16. So we shift back to Gross 16. That's something like it's we always try new technology. It's just see if it's work for privacy use case or not.
Okay. So the current implementation is still in Artworks, or are you using something different?
Yeah, I can introduce more like infrastructure. The further infrastructure is using Circon, but at the beginning is Artwork.
Okay. Makes sense. And we'll get into that, like how you're handling the trusted setup and that later. But in general, if you can tell us more about how, little bit about the adoption journey with this tool set.
Yeah.
Then we can move into your, like latest move away from Polkadot.
Yeah. So like, like in 2021, like I think it's still mainly focused on research and engineering. And like we deliver the first the first version of privacy payment on 2021. Performance is like the user experience is not that good as right now, but it's something there like on the testnet. It's all like substrate based, like everything. But like on 2022, like mid of 2022, we delivered the second version. The UX is much better, and like for the second version, we have I think 4 or 5 iteration right now, and they have much better like user experience and very fast. And like the transaction, private transaction, there's like something around like 200K, like or to until right now there's like I think more than 1 million transaction for private. But we find after we have like something I think pretty usable like privacy payment solution, I'm thinking how to get more user download signer, download wallet, and then get them into the the whole parachain and the whole like privacy space. But I find that DeFi is not something grows that fast, and it's not something you have to use every day. Especially privacy DeFi, right? Like even normal DeFi is not something like I have to use Uniswap every day. So I find that, but I think the ZK address can do more than DeFi. So this is something I think we keep explore how is the use case. And back in 2022, like last year, we find this is not only on the DeFi side, but also like we keep deliver, but I think also at the same time it can use in the social, because like at the identity, because like it's hide all the information, right? So it makes sense to keep the information somehow like because more and more data I find on chain. It's like Nansen. Like also the right now the current one recently there's a pretty hype one called Arkham, right? They're all like right now they're even trading the data like on-chain data. So it's actually something pretty valuable. And also I find some social campaign like platform like Galaxy, like all of these. They basically show your people like to save their credential on chain and share their badge, and also with NFT hype, people like to share their asset and share NFT. But all of this is a lot of things able to share on Twitter, but something create a lot of trouble as well. So we found out this can be another use case. So back in the 2022, like start from it, we start to explore this kind of thing. Like this is have two sides of use case. One I think focus on, maybe I will use another pen.
You can use this one.
It's perfect timing, by the way. It's just change another pen. So it's on the asset side and on the identity side. So we start from identity. I think the first use case is the KYC, and another is the credential. For KYC, at the beginning, the first one we did is the BAB. BAB is called the Binance Account Token. So we can, if you have basically you have a Binance account, you can mint on the mobile app or desktop using Binance account. Give their address and you can mint a Binance account bonded token. This is something like SBT. Back in the day, when I thought SBT is very hype, but they cannot use it. Because the reason that no one using it is because if I use it, it can directly link to my KYC, and also it shows a lot of information. It can directly shows a lot of information of my Binance account. So also if I want to use in other chain, I want to use in Arbitrum, it's not make sense. I cannot go to BNB chain and do the approval and then back to Arbitrum. That's pretty bad user experience. And that time I think this is a good information because Binance does KYC and it's pretty strict KYC. You have to do the facial verification, put your ID, and it's restrict a lot of people from North Korea and some other places. So it's still needed, but at the same time this address it contain this information, but I don't have to know the user's KYC information. So I just put this information into the ZK address. So that's kind of the first ZK KYC. We call it ZK BAB. So with this ZKBAB, it's like a unique asset ID, because the previous on ZK address, every fungible token have an asset ID, but the ZK SBT, we just put all of this identity called ZK SBT, and this ZK SBT, they also have assets ID, but it's just it's a non-transferable NFT version.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so if I understand correctly, what is happening here is that for every Binance user, so they have a lot of information on their Binance account, right? And you are what is the technical input that you are getting in, something like a access token, login access token, how are you getting the information from BNB? Or from Binance?
So basically, right now the first initial use case is super simple. It just prove you are KYC user.
Okay.
And after that, I can introduce more on the asset side. People can know more on how to prove the asset. But on the KYC side, it just prove you being KYC'd through this. But at the same time, this is minted on ZK address. So no one can see these things, you are KYC or not, to public. But at the same time, we have something unique. This is something I think the first time we created. But I find, it's not only we are doing it, Ethereum Foundation also doing some really similar thing. So it's something really great stuff. It's called a proof key. So basically, every ZK SBT, you can create different proof key. It's like a Google authenticator, You create a proof key for for a social application, for dating application, for reading application, for different application, and for GameFi application. All of these applications, in these applications, you can basically to verify you are a real person. So this is something it's a way to prove you are real, but at the same time, the user flow is you can reusable this to share the proof key to third party. Third party just call the API to prove you are a real person, and it's multi-chain. Any chain can prove the real person at the same time. We don't know your address, so hide this information, hide the KYC information, but prove you are real. That's how the products look like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one question I have, right? Like, what is the user flow here when they are signing up for like generating this ZKBAB?
Yeah.
What does the user need to know? Need to do?
Oh yeah, they just have the wallet because they have this incentive, to use this.
Yeah.
This like in different dApp, because dApp, like if I want to go a gamified application, especially on mobile, it's just really hard for them to because a lot of dApp they just use account abstraction or MPC wallet. But this wallet they generate the address themselves, and this address normally are not a BAB address. So I cannot do like one XC game or like one card game. All of these put the same address, and it's really hard because it's use MPC wallet, but the different address it can only have one KYC, so they cannot share it to all of it. So the way they do is they use their normal address to connect to the our ZK basically to approve that, to do a signature, approve you own this address, and then if we use the attestation to verify, oh, this guy have these things on the address. So basically they can eligible to mint this ZKBAB, and when they eligible to mint, like after they mint it, they can have this proof. They can generate like whatever number of proof key, and this proof key can be verified like through the app.
Okay. That seems fair. So you started with payment and swaps.
Yeah.
You were on the Polkadot parachain ecosystem. Then you kind of added social and identity primarily through ZKBAB. Then like adding KYC and credentials, and then we'll get to the asset part. So at what point in time did the shift to the EVM or the Ethereum ecosystem start?
Yeah, this is actually parallel. Actually start from end of this year we start to build. Last year we start to build this, and start from early this year. I think we launched the first ZKBAB on April 12th, and until right now, there's more than 500k ZKSBT already minted, and more than 260k addresses. So that's a lot of people, not only BAB by the way, but also Galaxy, KYC, also a lot of credentials to prove you are Arbitrum airdrop holder, like Linea, like others. So also some game, they just want to launch their own batch. So that's, they feel they're cool. So, I mean, like CyberConnect, Galaxy. So all of this is just credential side, but at the same time, this is the use case research, and we've seen this use case bring the user to the wallet, and this user from wallet back to use DeFi. So that's the user flow come back to the original product. I can maybe take this down. But before that, I think this is also some product I can share a little bit.
Yeah.
It's something within our ecosystem. Build this pump. This pump is a really funny product. It's basically it's the same logic. It can connect to your Ethereum. Right now it supports Ethereum, Arbitrum, OP, and BNB chain. It's basically you connect your Ethereum address, and then basically do the attestation, can read your address, and can mint the ZK certificate. And this certificate basically is about your asset. If the asset we support, like Ethereum, you can basically, if you have more than 100 Ethereum, you have 200 Ethereum, you can choose to mint ZK asset to show you have more than 100 Ethereum.
Okay.
So that's an asset verification, but without disclose your address and without disclose anything else information, but to prove your asset range, range.
No.
So it's I think something we need in real world. Is if you want to buy a property right now in States, you are going to give everything to bank account, assets, and to the all of this, anyone, agent, and the landlord. but you are not even but finally can get the offer. So you can only just prove, oh, I have more than 1 million. That's it, right? And share this proof key to third party and to prove, oh, I have 1 million in this certain time. So, and this is super cheap to mint. It can generate like whatever time. So that's the kind of another use case. And they can support also, and these things like the ZK is can share on Twitter. So it's basically another thing, people solve a problem. It's also not only like as fungible token also can support NFT. It's something like, oh, I have a, like fungible token or NFT, or some meme coin, like I have 8-figure PayPay, but I don't want to share my address, but I want to show off. I support this community on Twitter. So that's kind of ways people can share this on Twitter without disclose, the real asset, but they can still share the proof key to let people check. So that's kind of the product level, like how the ecosystem goes. It's just pretty simple, like infrastructure based on address, based on the initial circuit. We didn't change the circuit, but the proof key and this product level feature, we have a lot of iteration.
Well, I think this is pretty great till now. So we've understood quite a bit. Tell us a little bit more about your transition to like Ethereum or EVM specific chains.
I think this is something we still deliver, but I think more product right now, more partner we have is just they do the credential, they do asset verification. We still need other chains information, but I think if I want to have more use cases, leverage these kind of things, or if we want to get more other use cases in DeFi side, it's just not there for the whole substrate ecosystem. It's a good infrastructure, but the DeFi user is not there yet. So I think besides of that, we build a multi-modular platform. So it's I think after sorry for my bad handwriting. So basically the idea of this is we have more than one chain. It's like a multi-chain, but also it's like a modular design. The modular is also multi-modular is we can change the circuit from one circuit to different multi-circuit. And multi-circuit have different feature. It's not like we put the whole EVM into one circuit. It's we have a universal circuit. So the idea of this, let me think how to say this, is a layer 2. You can think is a layer 2, or it's like a OP stack plus So it's it's basically a layer 2 of OP stack plus the universal circuit. Because this plus universal circuit part, we can enable some new application on top of it. So it's basically before the application mainly focus on SocialFi and identity, but right now this circuit still have the SocialFi. It's basically basically what we did before, the ZKSBT, all of this is able to mint using the Ethereum address, and it can generate without you have to have the wallet. But at the same time, this wallet is still can powerful this because it can make it reusable. But we still just within the app or within mobile, people can generate this, and also we can make it more compatible. We we also work with like using the semaphore, like like the circuit. So that's basically built by PSE, like Ethereum Foundation.
Yeah.
So we can make using that circuit to generate the same thing.
Okay.
So the product level, that is different. And besides that, there's other circuits can do like it's like a gaming. And this game is like a fully on-chain game, because in the card side, if you want to do like fully on-chain game, you have to for the card game or like fog of war game, lot of game. If you want to do it, you have to have something hiding information.
Yeah.
But on-chain, there's no way to hide information besides using ZK, and in a like decentralized way. So we use ZK to hide information, like and there's some like card game right now on top of us, like a fully on-chain Texas Hold'em. You don't need server, but still can play the poker, and it's use ZK as a randomized number to distribute the card. And another thing is based on the another is still the DeFi. And the DeFi, I think right now we are doing is not only focus on privacy payment and the privacy DEX. Is more like a compliance privacy. We want to use the SocialFi information to like empower the DeFi. So all of these credentials, this means something on chain. Is like I have a lot of asset verification, lot of asset information, and my KYC, all of this. I can get better, like it's like either you can say it's like a collateral for DeFi. Maybe I can use this one. Or I'm not sure. This one, yeah. Maybe it's like a collateral for DeFi, or it can be something else for DeFi. So that's kind of the idea. I think I have a lot of things can basically leverage the social identity, and this identity can be directly like empower the DeFi on top of this layer 2.
Okay, makes sense. So basically, so you've kind of build this set of universal circuits, right, across social, gaming, DeFi, credentials, KYC, everything.
Yeah.
And so now you're using the OP stack to create this EVM chain where you can verify these proofs generated from the circuit by the users, for example. So now actually we're talking to Nebra that day, and they were working on aggregation of a lot of Groth 16 circuits. So now I understand, because all these applications and your users are continuously generating these proofs. And so you have to actually verify them individually today in the verifier contract. And so basically when you are able to aggregate, you should be able to do it much more efficiently as well.
Exactly. So I think, proof generation, proof aggregation is something really important. And also from the infrastructure side, Manta, besides this, infrastructure level tech stack, from developer, this is something we really care, is the, we abstract the circuit into contract. So developer, they're not write circuit of these kind of things, but they just call contract. And this contract is basically abstract from Circon to a several contract, and they just call contract to build this kind of application. So this means Solidity is a language, very kind of easy to use, then easy to get in than Rust. And we think, Solidity developer can have a good chance to leverage this language and use that into different use cases. And at the same time, they don't need to learn cryptography, and they don't need to learn other stuff to achieve new use cases. That's kind of the idea. Because right now, if there's only two directions right now, either you write Circon and or you do Cairo or whatever, Noor or something, or Leo. So if you write a new ZK feature, you need to learn new language, or you need to like write new you need to know cryptography.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea, but it's not make sense. For a lot of like a developer, I just want to build a DEX with some little bit ZK feature. It take them forever, to do.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. But I think another problem to achieve that is something on like Ethereum, even layer 2, it's really expensive. So a lot of people tell me, oh, you guys should do layer 3. But I think layer 3, the interoperable is a problem. So the solution is, we use Celestial SDA. I think, so that is here. Yeah. It's R, right? And yeah, sorry for handwriting. So we put the DA layer, and this is something, I think DA is super important here because, it can significantly lower the gas fee, and can basically enable the all of this information like getting faster and cheaper, and the scaling the data is really important because if I want to get billions of zkSBT minted on a layer 2, it's just not work on the previous substrate, because every block it can only mint I think 4 zkSBT.
Yeah.
And sometimes right now already have pretty big bottleneck, so I have to find solution. And but on top of that, we are not building a Solvent rollup. We are doing it still. We do Ethereum as a consensus layer. Yeah. So it's still we do the make it all the rollup thing it's still make it on Ethereum.
Okay. So primarily looks like you basically building an optimistic chain where OP stack is the rollup execution layer.
Yeah.
And you're using off-chain DA as like Celestia and perhaps Avail in the future.
Yeah.
And Ethereum you're using for the fraud-proof verification game and bridging, for example.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and this is one of the examples of how newer chains will if they don't want to be because of the high costs of rollups, even though it's pretty secure, more and more projects like Manta are opting for Validiums or optimistic chains. And we talked, Victor, about about supporting ZK EVM as Validium, for example, with Avail as DA. So we hopefully will get into that in the future. But yeah, so this is cool. So basically what we have kind of, if I were to summarize, right, I think I really like the developer experience focus, in the sense that there is a lot of tooling around building circuits, and a lot of it is like DSL, very hard to kind of learn for every application developer. And so basically there are these newer languages like Cairo, for example, and all that, but still you're opting to kind of abstract all of that away and create this set of standardized smart contracts, which have some primitives from social, gaming, DeFi, KYC, etc. And then developers can use these contracts to build on top, integrate. That's pretty cool. Cool.
So I think from user perspective, we really care, and the developer experience part, we really care. That's something. But to achieve that, we need a good infrastructure. So this is something we have to really care. So that's kind of the idea. But the good thing on Web3 is, we don't have to build everything ourselves, and we don't need to have DA team. We don't have to have OP stack team. We can make it, rollup team. We just use existing infrastructure pretty much there. But it's just really great also experience to write on Zircon, everything is there, but we can achieve some new features.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this really puts into perspective the modular thesis, in the sense that, the execution layer is using something called OP stack, there's a DA layer, and then you have Ethereum for settlement or, proof adjudication. for example. So yeah, this is pretty great. Anything else you want to talk about on the product side?
Yeah, I think that's kind of everything. Like, yeah, I mean, like in the future, there's can be more example use cases, but something like haven't coming on mainnet. So I think there's still can be tons of things can explore. But
Okay.
also we are really looking forward to explore with everyone. Want to build new use cases.
Okay. And what is for the audience? What is your current status, or like what are some important dates and timelines?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something like a lot of things on the future side still figure out, because I think right now we are more focused on two things. Like one is we are getting more contracts for developers to build and adopt these contracts for developers to build. And the second is how to get more like existing this kind of application or OP stack or EVM application to have some new feature with this contract. So this is something another so both things together is add up is the ecosystem.
Okay.
We try to work on. But on the infrastructure level, I think there's a lot of things can be explored on OP stack side. It can be hybrid and also it can be ZK in the eventually, right?
Yeah.
And DA stuff, I think there's a lot of tooling, I mean, you definitely know better than me, but so a lot of tooling and everything can improve. And how to it's also on the privacy side, privacy side on the data, how to put private data, and also UX. This is something I feel also really important. And Ethereum side, I think there's another thing is AA. I'm pretty care about.
Yeah.
So I think if there's good abstraction UX thing, it can significantly benefit all of this application. So we try to adopt something on this into the roll-up.
Okay.
As early as possible. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, I think as we reach the end of the Whiteboard series, maybe we can spend a little time on the discussion that we have been having around embedding our Avail DA Lite client into the wallet or the signer, right? I mean, should we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can just give some brief intro, and this is something we need to discuss together. Because,
So let me give you some idea about So what we have been talking to Manta a little bit is in general. So we have Avail, and this is the base layer, right? Which provides DA, right? So let's say Manta today it is using the OP stack, but maybe tomorrow it might use the ZK EVM, for example, right? And so this is the execution layer. Will is the DA layer, and so in general, so users are sending transactions here, right? Users are sending transactions here. And because Manta has this special wallet or signer, which does proof generation as well, right? And at the moment they have these proof verification happening on a contract here, right? Contract in Solidity. Here, this is where the proof verification happens now.
Yeah.
And so what we've been kind of talking to Manta and Victor primarily is so DA Avail has this DA base layer, but there is also a Avail DA Lite client, right, which does this thing called data availability sampling. So it kind of continuously polls or samples data from this network, right? And so we can have millions of these light clients. So what we were talking about is embedding this light client into the signer, into the wallet. So it can also verify the state, because user sends transactions to OP Stack and it sends transactions to Avail for DA. So that is how this works. Now, essentially, what here, when the proof is generated, right? Like typically, it would be sent to this contract in Solidity for verification. But what what we can actually do is, instead of just of course, we can send the proofs here. But essentially, these proofs can also be like, we can have like a proof verifier module in the wallet. Right? Like, so if, let's say, user A generates proof 1, for example, it can send to all the wallets through the P2P network for Avail, and whichever user wants to verify this can verify it using this logic. And so user B can verify proof 1 directly in the wallet.
I see.
Right? Like, they don't have to wait till the proof is sent to this contract, for example, right? Like, and this verification can be done directly on the client side. So just as you are doing client side proof generation, we can also do client side proof verification, and this lowers your cost significantly.
I see.
Right? Like, I mean, because this is done locally, right? Like, it's done on the user device, and so this lowers your on-chain footprint significantly. Of course, you can always post like the verify the proof on chain if you want to use it somewhere else. But essentially, like, the most important thing is the proof verification. And like, if we can get to this, right, like, so your low cost of transactions and in general operation goes much more cheaper.
I see.
Right? Like, and so yeah, roughly this is what we were hoping to but anyways, we've kind of already started initial discussions on putting the light client into Manta's wallet network, which already has like more than 240,000 downloads. Cool. Victor, you want to get into any more future developments that are coming that you want to announce or something like that?
I think around this, this could be really interesting, and I think the most of the important use case on light client verification is about the on-chain game, and this is super frequent for verification, and potentially this can lower the gas fee into another level.
Absolutely. So hoping to explore this in much more detail with you guys, and implementing this for a much better UX experience for users in general. I think something like this, like combination of what Manta does, like Manta focuses a lot on the real world usage, right? Like, they take practical use cases and convert it into constructs that everyday developers can use. You don't have to learn fancy like crypto DSL, for example. Like, you can just use their contracts which are Solidity compliant, and then you can start building on top. You can really utilize things like SBT, and other credentials information for KYCs, and something like that, asset confirmation without oversharing, or without sharing any confidential information. And so Manta has been kind of getting into social gaming, DeFi for all these use cases, and they were in the Polkadot ecosystem, but now they finished that project. They finished what they committed to, and now they've kind of coming up with this newer OP Stack deployment. And they're bringing their pedigree of history of building universal circuits, and then putting them into the Ethereum ecosystem. And so it's all pretty modular, as you can see, right? Like, they're making use of great modular tools, and they're mixing and matching different components to essentially arrive at the best result for the users. Right, like that's I think what Victor and his team focusing on. But yeah, any last words you want to say?
Oh, I think, thank you so much for having me, and it's a great conversation, and looking forward, the more light clients, running, and we are really like to support, like on the modular side, on the ZK side, and especially finally for developer, make them easier, and for users to have better and cheaper user experience.
Okay, yeah, this was a great session. Thank you, Victor, so much for kind of agreeing to come to this session, coming to office on a Saturday. So thank you very much. It was very much fun talking to you.
Great.
Okay, see you guys. Bye.